Hello, and thank you so much for dropping by this video. This is going to be a practice, a guided practice of receiving sacred, divine, healing life energy. It's very easy to do. Please sit with your legs uncrossed, feet flat on the floor, hands on your legs, palms facing upwards, back in a relaxed, upright position, not slouched and not too stiff. Then close your eyes. Take a few breaths. Come into the present moment. Now, please separate yourself. Hand over all burdens, worries, fears, illnesses to your understanding of the highest power. Some people call that God. Some specific religions have different names: Allah, Yahweh, Christ, Brahman, Spirit, Source. There are some non-denominational names like Spirit or Source. However you think of this highest power, the source of all that is, our Maker, please hand over your burdens or problems to that. And if you don't have a belief or a conception of the highest power or God, hand your problems, burdens, and worries over to a spiritual helper, friend, or teacher whom you trust. If you don't have such teacher or being, this channel is dedicated to the life and work of a very beautiful spiritual teacher named Bruno Groening. You're welcome to literally give him your problems. So let's spend a minute and do that now, emptying ourselves out. And now, having handed over our burdens and our worries, let's fill up with this divine energy. It's very simple to do. Just ask that higher power, ask your spiritual friend, teacher, to receive the divine energy, and then observe your body while having the intention to take that in. Having the intention to receive, the intention to let go of everything that's not good. And observe your body. If your mind's all over the place, you can do something like watch your breath. You can repeat a short prayer or mantra. But that's just to help focus the mind. The practice is to observe your body with the intention to receive this divine healing energy. If the mind wanders off, bring it on back. Just keep coming back to that practice of taking in what's good, releasing what's not good. The mind wanders off, that's okay. Bring it back to receiving. So I'm going to talk a little bit. If you'd like to remain in silence, feel free to mute me. A warm welcome to everyone. Hi, Joseph. Hi, Luna. I may mispronounce your name. Soria Cian says, great thing. I wish I were ready, were able to use this. I still have my picks. Don't exactly know if you could clarify what you mean by not ready and what you mean by your picks. Be happy to speak to that. Welcome, one and all. So I'm going to share a little bit, and I'm assuming that people know who Bruno Groening is, and if you don't, very briefly, he was a very wonderful spiritual teacher who was active in Germany after World War II. We don't know how many, tens, hundreds of thousands of healings happened around him. And those healings are still happening today. And one of the main ways that these healings happen are through this practice we just did of receiving divine healing energy. So, right here, right now, as I'm making this video, it's Bruno Groening's birthday. Wish you a happy birthday, Bruno Groening, and a deep thank you for coming today. And again, sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, Soriasian. Thank you. I will speak to that in one moment. So Bruno Groening's life was not easy, but he came and he did profound spiritual work, and he laid a foundation for that work to continue even after he wasn't here. And it's continuing to this day. Every day, all around the world, people are experiencing miraculous healings through Bruno Groening's teachings and through his help. While he's not here in his body, he is very available to still help. And you can find this out for yourself. You don't have to believe anything I say. Bruno Groening's teachings are more like an experiment than a teaching, in that you try them and you see the results. So, I was an agnostic when I found Bruno Groening's teaching. I didn't believe in God, but I experienced things that proved to me beyond a shadow of a doubt. And now I still don't believe in God. I know there is a God. I know there is, whether you call it God, that word can be sticky for some people. I'm utterly convinced that there is a higher power, the source that is available to help us on our spiritual path. It's not even a belief now, it's just a fact for me. So, Psoriasin, I like being what I am. I cannot let go yet. Okay, so this ties in, so beautiful sharing, thank you. This ties into really the essence of Bruno Groening's teachings. And so the question is, what are we? So first and foremost, Bruno Groening would ask people, what are you? He would say, are you a body? And people would say, yes. And Bruno Groening would say, no. You have a body. You've been given a body. You are a soul. And you are on a soul that is on a vast journey, of which this particular lifetime is just one very small part of that. So first and foremost, we need to understand what we are. We're not this body. For example, this body is male. This body was born in the United States, so it's an American citizen. In this lifetime, there are certain things that I like. We each have our own desires and preferences, but that's not the essence of who we are. The essence of who we are, according to Bruno Groening, is a soul. Now, this soul has a capacity to receive, and we just practiced receiving, right? We just practiced taking in divine energy. But the soul also has a capacity to draw to itself negativity. So it can't take the negativity in. Bruno Groening said the human being is and remains divine, meaning that nothing can taint the soul, but it can be covered over. It can be, in essence, obscured, or the light within it can't be diminished, but the light can be covered over. If there's a lamp, and let's say it's shining so bright, and you put a lampshade over it, that doesn't decrease the actual light of the lamp, but it does cover it up. And so that's exactly, according to Bruno Groening's teaching, that's what happens to us human beings. That the light doesn't get diminished, but it gets covered over by bad habits, by negative thoughts, negative beliefs, by negative energy, by this dense negative energy. And so what we were just doing right now, taking in this divine energy, helps to release and let go. In essence, take the lampshade off so we can be, as it's written, Christ said, the light of the world. Be what we are. children of God, and let that light shine. And so Bruno Groening was a beautiful example of a great teacher whose lamp was not covered, whose light and love and the power of God flowed freely through. So, and again, I'm so sorry about mispronouncing your name. Thank you, Joseph. If you have any questions, please, or comments, please type them in. So Riason says, I like being what I am. I cannot let go yet. So it's very important to know what we are and what we are not. For example, if let's say someone has the bad habit of smoking a carton of cigarettes a day. That's a lot. 5 packs of cigarettes a day. I don't know. So here's the $10 million question. Are they a smoker, or have they taken on the habit of being a smoker? I would argue, and Bruno Groening's teaching would argue, and most spiritual teaching would argue, that the person isn't a smoker. That's not what they are. It's a habit that is obscuring what they are. So you could also say, someone who has a problem with anger, you could say they're a rageaholic. Well, maybe, or maybe they have the habit of indulging anger and rage. Maybe they're caught in a habit or pattern, of acting out on that rage. So they're not a rageaholic, but they have that pattern of it. And so Sorarian says, well, I am gay. I'm not asking you to not be gay. I have no memory of Bruno Groening's Bruno Groening never speaks of not being gay. So if you think that's wrong, that's kind of between you and your higher power. I don't think it's wrong. And there's a lot of very strong opinions about that. And right here, right now on this channel, that's not a topic I'm going to hop into. But if you feel that's wrong, I disagree with you, but you should pursue that path, and you can pray and talk to Bruno Groening and ask his opinion on it. So Riason, that's, we're not going to go there. That's not what this channel is about, and that's not what this live stream is about. I'll tell you what. Here's what you do. Here's what you do. Let go of all your opinions about whether being gay is right or wrong. Let go of all the opinions that anyone has ever told you, because let's be really clear. Religion is nothing more and nothing less than people passing along rumors, things they heard from somebody they heard from somebody they heard from somebody. Someone heard something, they told someone, they told someone, they told someone. And this is with contentious issues like whether or not being gay is a sin or not. That's where everything just gets really crazy really quick, because people confuse opinions with facts, and so much suffering happens. So here's my suggestion to you and to all of us. It's a great way to live. Turn to the highest power, which I call God. You can call the source, whatever you want. Turn to a spiritual helper you trust, whether that be Bruno Groening, Jesus Christ, the Buddha, a saint or a sage from another tradition, and say to that saint and sage, I give you all my opinions. I am sick and tired of living my life based on the opinions of other people. Please, I want to know the truth. Please, I recognize that coming to know the truth is a process. And I also recognize that there is a force called evil. And one of the capacities of evil is to send untrue thoughts. So I hand over all my opinions and I want to know the truth. And give it time. You may get an answer in a second. It may take a year or it may take years. So I know people, and so healings aren't just releasing of negative habits, and I'm not saying being gay is a negative habit, and releasing of illnesses. And that can happen in literally a second, and that can take decades. Hey, Magdalena, welcome. And so what I invite you to is a process and a dialogue with higher power. Because the thing is, one of the cornerstones of Bruno Groening's teachings is we cannot overcome evil on our own. It's actually a cornerstone of Christ's teaching as well, and on many other spiritual traditions. That on our own, we as human beings are not able to overcome evil. So whether or not being gay is a sin or not, and once again, I feel just as in my position, what I'm doing here, I just need to state, I don't believe it's a sin. That doesn't mean I'm correct. But the thing is not knowing something is an indication that evil or density or ignorance has obscured the divine connection. So before you try and get rid of being gay, restore the divine connection so that you can even know. Because otherwise we're locked in a cycle of opinions. It's true, it's not true, it's true, it's not true. So thank you so much. And so yeah, I'm just gonna, there's a lot there. Joseph G wrote, well, I didn't know Bruno until a few ago. Upon first experimenting with his technique, I received a healing, which shocked me. Since then, I've always remembered and come back to this at times. Joseph G, if you want to share what your healing is, please do. That's how it was for me. So as I shared in this video, I didn't believe in a higher power or God. I was a strict agnostic. But when I found Bruno Groening's teachings and I experienced my first healing was absolutely medically impossible. And it happened in the middle of a gathering just like this. I was shocked. And it changed my life, actually. Joseph, that's amazing. Wow, what an amazing coincidence. Joseph wrote, not encourage getting sidetracked, but maybe it's not an accident here. So the sidetrack is, we're not going to get into debate whether homosexuality is right or wrong, but so this is fantastic. But we can use the question to get at the spiritual path, which I've already kind of covered. So maybe it's not an accident. I'm here, gay too, struggled with it, but found for myself that it's okay, not wrong, just part of my path. Wishing you well. So yeah, again, it's tempting to get sidetracked, but we won't. Thank you, Joseph. That's beautiful. So I was going to tune in for a little bit longer and then wrap up for today. And so let's hand over all our human opinions. Let's hand over things that are blocking us. Actually, before we do that, I'm going to read very briefly Joseph's healing report. Joseph wrote, I had a severe fear of flying and an opportunity to fly to Europe. I would have to go alone. Somehow I stumbled upon the technique. I tried it and felt something, and I was able to go. That's amazing. And that brings to light that healing is not just a physical phenomenon, it's also a release of anything that, as I said before, interferes with the divine connection and interferes with us living a harmonious life. So to psoriasian, I would say give away all of your intense feelings about being gay, like all the painful feelings, shame and guilt and anger and confusion and all the turbulence. Hand over the turbulence of this issue and of the question so you can get guidance. So let's hand over everything that blocks us from a happy, healthy life. Resentments, fears, our negative thoughts about the future. Oh, such and such will never happen, or oh, such and such negative will happen. Handing that over. Let's hand over our negative thoughts about the past. Oh, such and such didn't happen. It was so terrible. Or, oh, such and such did happen. It was so terrible. Placing our trust. As Bruno Groening said, the state of the world is steered by God. Only things that serve as a lesson are allowed to happen. Nothing happens that doesn't serve the good. And any other blockages, let's hand over habits that don't serve us, especially the habit of dwelling on problems. Yes, we need to seek solutions to problems, but dwelling on them, circling them in our mind, does not help. In fact, it hurts. Having handed that over, let's ask our Maker, by whatever name you call it, God, Source, Infinite Love, and let's ask a spiritual helper, friend, teacher we trust, please take away these burdens and please help me to receive the divine energy, the divine love. Then observe your body with the intention to take that in. Absorbing, taking in. right, beautiful souls. Thank you so much for dropping by. Thank you for this, at the time of this live broadcast. This is Bruno Groening's birthday today. Soriasan, thank you so much for bringing that topic forth. It really gets to the root that relying on human opinions is not enough. And ultimately, even to rely on our own opinion, we need to know. Bruno Groening said, and it's almost a direct quote, if you observe your body with the intention to receive this divine energy, the truth will reveal itself inside your body. On a special note, this is my, special to me anyway, this is my 11-year anniversary of being introduced to Bruno Groening's teaching. And what I can say is before this teaching, I had a head full of opinions. And now there's less opinions. There's still some opinions up here. I try and let them go. But now I know some things for a fact, for myself. There's nothing anyone could ever say, and nothing can happen that can take away some of the things that I now know. And that's maybe the deepest gift, is that I know that there is a higher power. Depending on the day, some days I call it God, some days I call it Allah, some days I call it Brahman, some days Spirit. The name isn't so important, but there's a supreme highest power that is all good and only good, loves me unconditionally, and that all things serve the good, that there's nothing meaningless that happens. It's all part of a divine plan. Do I remember that every moment of every day? No. Do some days, do I doubt it? Yes. And yet fundamentally, I know it's a fact, and I always come back to it. And I don't have to convince myself to believe it. So I wish that for everyone here, knowing the truth. And I'm not here to say what the truth is. Bruno Groening's teaching ultimately is not about, this is the truth. Bruno Groening's teaching is about a path so that we can know the truth and live the truth and embody the truth. And the long and short of it is I and all the other people who are sharing his teachings, we're just human beings on a path. But if we're doing our job well, we're pointing you in the direction, pointing in a direction that can lead you to know what's true for yourself. Soriasan, I didn't experience a disruption except during the final tuning in. Other than that, everything you said here just made for a really rich meeting. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. Happy Bruno Groening birthday, and have a beautiful, beautiful day. Take care. Big love.